Wow, I noticed.
I thought you might have monitored the station while I was getting my chicken salad, but that's okay.
Well, we know what's important around here. Hey, everybody, welcome in River Region Sports. Football Friday, and maybe the first time I have ever done a talk show in a school building. Is this the first for you?
Oh, no, I've done several. Yeah, a bunch of them.
Okay. Well, this is new for me. So, but we're here with First Community Bank. This is their Tallassee High School branch, which is literally in the school building. And they have a setup here that kind of looks like a
bank.
A bank. It's just like the bank with teller windows, and now they don't have the bars up or anything like that, but they got just about everything else.
It's Tiger Branch.
Tiger Branch.
You don't.
That's exactly. If I look at the signage, I would see that.
You don't need bars in Tiger Branch.
You don't need. That's right. All you got to have is a tiger, and don't grab it by the tail. So that's where we are, and we're excited to be here. And we got next couple hours to talk about everything. We've had some developments over the last 24 hours. We'll get into some of that here in just a minute. We've also had, I won't say a death in the family, but it feels like it with Burt Reynolds passing away.
Yeah,
that was pretty sad.
Definitely.
And we got high school football going on tonight, and then, of course, college football going on tomorrow. So, and we had a pro game last night, which I didn't see much of, but hey, it's pretty true for all of it, right? I hadn't watched much pro football anyway, so
you haven't boycotted them yet, but you don't.
I don't boycott. That's not me. I'm not the boycotting type.
He just doesn't watch.
I just, if I do watch, it'll be because I want to. I'm not going to let anybody dictate to me what I can and can't do.
And my favorite line from you is always, Graham, I didn't see it. Because you never see anything. You
always
say, I didn't see it.
I see some things, but I didn't see much of last night. Did you see last night's game?
I saw some of it.
I was now I did watch.
I saw the Kaepernick commercial. Did anybody watch that?
No, I did not see that.
Yeah, all 90 seconds of it.
I of course I had a ball game last night.
90-second ad, yeah.
Wow. I had a game at Crampton Bowl last night, and that might have been when it was on, but
yeah, that's probably about right.
So no, I did not see it. I did watch the rest of the Braves last night. I stayed with that farce and watched them blow a big lead. They did come back and win, but we won't get into all that today because all I'll do is just sit here and complain. But anyway, so I do see some things. I just didn't watch much of the Falcons and the
It wasn't
Eagles.
much to see. The 25-minute review to see if Julio Jones actually caught a ball that he should have caught cleanly to start with. A lot of field goals.
I don't even know what you're talking about there.
Well, it was a play in the second half where he bobbled the ball and then grabbed it and contained it and looked like he got it as he sort of slid across the field out of bounds, and they ruled it to be an incomplete pass. So.
And it was a correct call?
No, I thought he caught it.
Oh, okay.
And the guys on TV thought he caught it, but some guy thought it was not good enough to be a catch.
Yeah. Now, and I don't think Tim saw any of it either, right?
I didn't see any of it.
So, but that's fine. Philadelphia wins. We've said enough about that. So, we got games tonight. We've already mentioned the fact that Tallassee will be in action, playing a team that's it's not kind of. They have improved a lot over the last few years, Greenville, and looking forward to see this being the first regional game really for everybody. I think everybody's pretty much playing region games tonight. Not all I'm trying to. Does Wetumpka play a region game? They've got that weird schedule.
Yeah, Calera.
Yeah, Calera is a regional game for them. So everybody pretty much playing region games tonight. So you open that part of the season.
Go ahead, Tim, while I continue to
I was going to
finish off this chicken salad
I've
sandwich.
already seen a region game last night, so
yeah. Wait, what?
Monroe Academy and Success
Oh, that was
Unlimited,
a region game. Okay,
that was a region game.
I didn't realize
region
that.
openers across the board. You said so. There's a region opener. So.
Okay, well, AISAs they don't quite follow the same pattern as AHSA when it comes to region games. They could play 1 week and not play the next. They may wait. Somebody
AHSAA may play 1 week or not play the next.
Most of them play a couple of weeks. I could tell this is going to be a contentious show, so we might as well just batten down the hatches for this one.
All right, Maria Taylor, just say what you mean. Say what you mean.
Okay,
and stand by.
Here you go. If you have a 7 or an 8 team region, You usually take the first 2 weeks and play non-region. You then take the next 2 weeks and play region. Then you take an off week, and then you play more region games. That's normally how it's done. Now, I realize with Wetumpka, they only have 5 region games because there's only 6 teams in the region. That's why I made the point about Wetumpka. AISA does the same thing.
You're correct.
Okay? So that's why I said what I said.
They play a couple of games, and then they take a week off.
Yeah, that's usually the way it works. Yeah. So Philip is here. Glad to – maybe he could bring some levity to this.
Bringing levity too.
But anyway, Tallassee does have a region game tonight. We got an annual showdown in Crampton Bowl tonight with Lee and Jeff Davis. That, for some of us, brings back some memories, not necessarily good memories if you're a Lee fan back in the days when we were in high school, because normally Jeff Davis – won that game, but that I didn't realize that series is as far as wins and losses is as close as it is.
Well,
it's
Jeff
still a
Davis,
1 or 2 game series.
Jeff Davis won every game from 1971. They didn't play in 68. So Lee won in 69. They tied in 70, and then Jeff Davis won every game from 71 to 85. Does that sound right? I believe that's right. And then Lee won every game from 86
well, now
to
Lee did
95.
win in 80, 81.
80.
Yeah. Should have won it the year before, but didn't. But anyway, that's been a very close series.
It went like about 14 games in this way, and then it went about 14 games in that way, which brought them back together. And then since then, they've probably been pretty close.
Right. So that's going on tonight. That's at Crampton Bowl. I don't think this game's going to be very close. I've seen Jeff Davis, I've seen Lee, and I really don't expect it. Jeff Davis offensively is just
horrible,
bad. I don't know any way to put it. They're just
horrible,
just a bad offensive team. Park Crossing did win last night.
Dothan.
They're not well, and you can say that because they're not a great offensive team either, and yet they got a couple of huge plays that won the ball game for them. They had a couple of long
Dothan.
Well, here's the thing. Dothan is not as bad as they have been. They looked a little better. They don't have a lot of speed, and defensively they can't tackle, and that's why you had a 94-yard pass play, and then you had another, I think, 77-yard pass play. And that was pretty much all they needed. So that's how that game went last night.
So when Dothan plays Northview, you think Dothan will win?
Well, I haven't seen Northview.
Oh, okay.
So I can't answer that question. But, I mean, based on what some people have told me, the Northview's still not any good, then, yeah, I would probably pick
bad and batter.
Bad and batter.
So
Let's
the battle
make up
of the
the
bad
words as
teams,
we go
is that
along.
what you're saying?
Yeah. Fortunately, I don't have to sit there and watch it.
What was that year that the guy, it was one of the coaches of Lanier, I think, that said so-and-so is bad, somebody's worse, and somebody's just plain awful or something. You remember that? He was comparing all the Montgomery public school teams.
That was Bubba Lewis, former coach, who actually I think I wrote that story, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he was talking about how pitiful city football had gotten at that point in time, and that's what he was saying. It was bad, worse, and whatever comes after worse.
Yeah, something
and
like
ugly.
that. And worser.
And worser.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's. I think that was Bubba Lewis who made that statement. And Bubba Lewis has never been known to hold back on anything. He usually tells you how he feels. Anyway, so we got high school games. We got Alabama playing Arkansas State tomorrow. Game you can hear on WTLS. Auburn plays Alabama State. Are they excited, Tim, at Alabama State for?
Alabama State probably is.
You think they're excited?
Oh yeah.
We're going to slay the champion. We're going to slay the dragon.
Slay the dragon.
We're going to take him down.
Hmm.
Yeah, can you imagine, though, if it were a game like Jack State had with Auburn a few years ago? I don't think there's any chance of that. No, we
I
can't
can't
imagine.
imagine.
They would
that.
throw a parade.
If Jack State played Alabama State, would it be a close game?
No, not really.
No,
I don't think so.
Don't think so. They're not even close.
I don't think so.
Okay, so
Now,
think
well,
because Jack State
They
should have
did
beaten
beat
Auburn that
Tuskegee
year.
last
I mean, they
week.
really should have beaten them.
Before we get in, are we talking about the Jacksonville State that played that team?
That team
year?
was good. That was a good
or
team.
the Jacksonville State this
No,
year?
but
Because
this
the
year's-
Jacksonville State this year is not quite as
Right.
good as that. So I would almost say
They're basically on the same level, aren't they?
this year they might.
As far as division of play, they're FCS.
Alabama State this year is probably one of the better teams they've had in the last few years. Is that right, Tim? I mean, that's kind of. I know I'm basing that on one game. They beat Tuskegee, but they haven't been able to beat Tuskegee lately.
I was going to say define the last few years, last 3 or 4 years, yeah. I mean, but and that's their whole tenure under Jenkins wasn't wasn't too.
It was
good.
awful.
Yeah.
Let's just call it what it was.
Yeah.
It was awful.
But the reality is, and I covered Alabama State's foray into the SEC when they took the best player that they've arguably ever had since he's still running for the Cleveland Browns, since he's still playing pro football. They had the best player they've ever had on one of the better teams that they've ever had. One of the top, say, 7 or 8 teams they've ever had, with a pretty good coach, and they play what is undeniably the 14th best team in the conference, or whether it was 14 when they played Kentucky. I can't remember.
You're going
Anyway,
back farther than
13
I
or 14.
care to remember.
One of the two.
Anyway, they got just
Annihilated.
You talking about when they played
Annihilated.
Kentucky? It was
Yeah.
48-14. I looked it up the other day.
yeah. Well, I mean, it was like 24-0 at the end of the first
Is that
quarter.
the only game they played against an SEC
Yeah.
opponent?
Yeah, and they were never in it. They were never. There was no bad breaks. It just exposed what the SWAC is going up against the worst team in the SEC. Now they're going up against one of the best. It doesn't matter how much better they are. I mean, it's not going to matter.
So,
But I did look up Gus Malzahn has not scored more than 60 since he's been at Auburn, which I thought, was kind of surprising.
but he has scored 60 a few times, right?
No, I don't think he's ever scored 60 points. I looked it up today.
I
was
thought
surprised.
they had beaten some. Well, maybe not.
They've scored 50-something, and
Yeah.
you would think that if he had a chance, he'd run it up, but
He's not going to prove anything doing that.
I was
This
going to
No,
say
but-
he won't have to run.
I was
it
going
up.
to say he may not
yeah,
have.
but I mean, it's
He'll
we
have to
saw a
hold it down.
77-point game last weekend with Oregon State, a Power 5 conference team versus Ohio State, and it was 77-31. I mean,
I think Ohio State did that on purpose, though.
that's to show everybody, hey, we're
yeah,
mad.
we're
I think
mad.
you're wrong. You put that as a myth. They are mad. You said we're mad. We're going to tear everybody up.
I don't know if they're mad, but I think they were trying to show everybody, hey, we can do that.
They were really celebrating in the locker room. This is for Graham
Yeah,
Dunn.
that's right.
gonna show
My name
him.
was. I think they pulled my name across the
boy
skies in a
boy
plane.
down there in Alabama.
Yeah. What do I know? By the way, I got a couple of.
It was on the bulletin board. They had it up there.
I had a couple of people say I didn't know what I was talking about on our prep picks either, so I'm used to that this week. But
What part?
our prep capsules.
They-
I said I don't know. I don't remember who said it, but I don't know who you are and who made these picks, but y'all don't have a clue what you're talking about.
Wow.
So what picks do you think they're referring
They
to?
didn't refer to one in particular. They were very general.
Did you pick Trinity or Alabama Christian?
We'll get into that when we pick the games here. And that's probably what it is. Now that you mention that, that's probably it.
I can't remember who I picked.
Because
Between those two.
I rarely, I rarely get anybody who says anything unless I pick against one of the private schools in Montgomery. And I've gotten more grief over picking against, a St. James or a Trinity or a Catholic or Alabama Christian. I had some lady years ago. She sent me an email, and she said, "You must just hate Alabama Christian because you never pick them to win." Now, regardless if they were 2-8, and they were a terrible football team, it's like they don't want to hear that. And sure enough, I picked them to lose just about every week, and I was right every week. And right underneath it, she'd say, "Well, once again, you pick us to lose." And I put down there one time, I got so sick of it, I said, "And once again, they did."
Oh,
And I never heard back from her. So you're not supposed to hack off your
I'm not
your
reading
readers.
him again.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do
I'll
that.
show
But
him.
there comes a point, right? There's got to be a point. And
Should have picked him just to make him feel good at one time.
Is that what I
Take
should
one for
do?
the team? Yeah, why not?
Okay, if I do, you do. You have to do that. So
I've done it before. Actually,
Have you really?
Well,
Love the
here I am
outfit.
today. Oh, we got Fred
Oh,
Flintstone just
wow.
walked in the room.
Fred is here.
Today is favorite character day at Tallassee High School, a spirit day. That my daughter comes in last night. She says, "Do you have a brown coat?" To my wife, and World War III began. You
brown
didn't tell
coat.
me. You didn't tell me about it. She had some character on The Office, one of her favorite shows,
Oh.
and she wanted to dress as him, and we didn't have the sport coat, and I don't think she got to participate to this.
I wonder how much
today.
she paid for those shoes.
Love it.
That was good.
No, just asking a question. Just asking
You
a
do
question.
have big. You do have big feet, Brooke. I mean, Fred. Excuse me.
Fred,
I wish we could
I was
pan
going
the
to
camera
say,
around and get a
I
get a
think
video
you
of
may
that.
have those on the wrong feet, though, because the big toes are on the outside.
Well, they're the same.
Oh, they're the
foot.
same.
They don't make them special like that.
Oh.
He only has 3 toes.
Well,
Did you have to?
He's run a
evolution?
couple of those off by starting the car.
I'm curious. Did you have to special make those? Because it looks like you may cut them. Did you have to cut them? No? Okay.
No, this is left over from a Halloween costume.
Oh, it's a Halloween costume leftover. It works.
Yeah, I like that.
Fred Flintstone
Very
in
good.
the house today.
That's very.
There you go.
This was the husband.
Right. What did you go as, Wilma?
I was Wilma.
So you didn't want to be Wilma?
Wilma's not school appropriate.
Oh.
Wilma. I didn't hear that. Wilma is not.
She's not school appropriate.
Oh.
There you have
No,
it.
she wasn't.
I-
She wasn't like that, but she's a one shoulder, and we just can't do that coming to school.
Yeah.
Too much. Too much of that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got you.
Too
I
much
got
of
you.
that. Yeah. We'll leave
Yeah,
it.
we'll move
leave
on
it
now.
right there. We'll move on.
Back to
Thank you,
football.
Fred Flintstone,
And
and
now back to football.
anyway, I forgot totally what we were
Well,
talking about.
I do want to
You were
say
talking
thanks
about
for the,
picking against
for the fine
Alabama
meal.
Thanks for the segue.
Yeah, thank you
too.
for the food there, Barry.
Yes.
It's very tasty.
Yeah, I'm
Barry,
glad-
Barry's here
Barry's-
today.
We hadn't seen Barry the first 2 weeks we've
Yeah,
been
he's
doing
been
this.
busy. He finally
now,
made room for
we're
us at
here.
lunch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Now he's here. You know, I got on him last week a little bit. I said, "You need to come make picks with us. You need to be on here making
He's
these picks."
here today to make
and
the
I'm
picks.
assuming he's going to be here today.
Yeah,
Or is it going to be?
give him
I'm
the
not going to
microphone.
tell you that because you may have to leave.
Now, hand him a mic so he can hear him.
Yeah,
Can't
we
hear.
need give him let him give his.
Sorry that it's got to be you, Tim, but you're the
publicly.
closest to
You're
it.
the closest one.
So this is the Tiger branch of First Community Bank. I love it that you got that as the name. Did you come up with that by yourself, or
I think me and Matt came up with that.
Yeah, that's a
we
good
had a little
idea.
discussion on what we was going to call it.
what were other ideas out there? Was
Oh.
it Black Panther branch, or
A
that
Lincoln
would-
does
that would
have
work.
one. It's the
since we got
Panther
one in
branch.
Tallassee
Yes.
roaming about?
But it's run by students.
Yes.
We let them go through the hiring process. Carly Aldridge is our.
do you pay
She's
them?
here today as
They
well.
do get paid.
They get paid.
Yeah, it's a job.
It's not like we pay them weekly, but they pay them a couple of times through the year. But they get some good experience and looks good on resume, and so it does pretty good.
So, what do students come in here for? To make change?
They can make
They make
change. They,
deposits.
can open a checking account, make
Yeah.
deposits. That's what we're fixing to push. Start pushing. Opening some accounts.
Yeah.
We're gonna give away some shirts. With every time you open an account, get your shirt. And I think we even gonna have some kind of little drive where whichever one of our students employees gets the most people to come in and open an account, we're gonna reward them with something. We hadn't figured
Cool.
out exactly what it is yet, but
And I guess you can get your spirit card here too.
you can
right?
get the spirit
There you
card.
go.
The spirit card, 5 cents goes to the school every credit transaction. Last year we got around $2,000, and we should get that number here in the next few weeks
Fantastic.
on how much they'll get this year.
That is awesome. All right. Well, this is where we are, folks. Can people come in here and say hello
Yes,
to
they
us?
sure can.
Come on in.
got
Tallassee
food.
High School. We got food.
We got,
We got
chicken
chips.
salad sandwiches. We got chips. We got
Man.
cupcakes.
All of
Come on in.
it. We'll be back. Stay tuned. River Region Sports Football Friday. First Community Bank. All right, welcome back on this Football Friday here on River Region Sports. Tallassee High School Tiger branch of First Community Bank. We still haven't figured out who came up with that name, but it's a good one. We like that. Did Barry say he?
Matt and Barry.
Okay. Well, I want to make sure I give the proper credit. So, got a special guest. Of course, you come to the school, you should talk to the football coach, right? And that's what we're going to do. Mike Battles Jr. here and getting ready for Greenville tonight. And Coach, he's got to get his game face on. He has his own game meal. Are we allowed to tell the public what you eat for your game meal?
I eat that about 3 times a week. It's not just once.
Let me get you to hold your mic up to you there.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I like to go down there and get the livers and gizzards down there at the marathon. That's the best chicken in town, in my opinion.
So you like to eat that, and does that get your blood flowing, your juices flowing?
It probably helps slow down my blood.
Oh, okay.
That's probably where Trey is right now.
A lot, and I see Trey down there quite a bit.
He frequents the same place for the same thing.
But we'll on Fridays we'll get together and have a pregame meal here in a couple of hours, and that's what we do.
Well, it's always interesting because I know everybody handles game day differently, and you may handle it different when you played versus now as a coach. Do you have any rituals or anything that you like to do?
Not much, because my Fridays usually I make a plan and then it's probably unraveled by about 10:30, 11 o'clock. It just depends on. Now, when I played, it was differently. I got up and did the same thing and went about things the same way. And but now, it's just getting when you're responsible for 61 boys, just getting them to the field house at 3:15 and getting them all under control and everything, and getting the pep rally done and all those things, making sure the balls have air in them and all that, So it keeps me busy, my mind off, lets me kind of get where I can get focused later on. But there isn't too many rituals.
There's one that's interesting that I found out about today, Coach. I'd not heard before, but Jill Wisner says she gives you a penny that she finds on heads at the ballpark before every game.
Now that is one, I guess, that we started a while back, and sure enough, I even, to a point, I guess I'm a little superstitious, as are most coaches. But yeah, if I hadn't got it by about 5 o'clock, now I find her and say, hey, let's get this thing rolling here. Now you need to start looking. But yeah, she has. I don't know how long she's been doing it, but it seems to be working.
Have you verified that she does find these and they are heads up?
As far as
it doesn't
I'm
matter
concerned, in my mind, she did.
She did text me today to tell me that little tidbit, and she said that one time they couldn't find any, so they got Sterling Turner to just take all of his change out of his truck and throw it. Yeah, throw it out there in the ball.
However we go about it, it all works.
There's no method to the madness.
That's correct.
That's exactly right. Well, you look pretty good your first couple of games of the season. How do you feel about it?
Well, we played 2 good opponents. I mean, and to come out of those 2-0 and be healthy, not have anybody injured, you can't ask for better. Of course, we made mistakes. I mean, you've seen them, and there are things we've got to get cleaned up. But with the personnel we have in there, our secondary is getting better every time. There are a lot of new guys over there, and you can see, we rarely gave up 1 touchdown pass and then had kind of a fluke, but they're getting better, and Calvin's getting better with every snap. He was more comfortable Friday night than he was the first Friday night, and he's made some great plays. So, as long as we can stay healthy and as long as we continue to improve each week, we're going to be okay.
Let's go to your quarterback. He was a wide receiver, I believe, beforehand.
All-state wide receiver.
Was this in the plans before, or did you say, let's try him there?
It came about this summer. We went out. We wanted to kind of keep everybody in the same place, and we didn't progress along as far as we should at quarterback. So, we just went, and it was pretty simple: find the best athlete you've got and put him back there, because Calvin obviously can throw the ball really well, but even if he was just an average passer, you still have your best athlete touching the ball every play. And he's going to make some plays like the first week of the season. he ran all the way right, ran all the way back left, and then threw one about 35, 40 yards downfield. There's not a whole lot of people that can make that play.
Was that on one play?
That was on one play.
And no lineman went downfield?
Nobody went downfield.
That's unbelievable.
Well, and we pointed that out in our film watching. We
Yeah.
pointed it out how they had enough about them to know to stay back behind the line of scrimmage.
That's discipline right
And,
there. I'm impressed with that.
That is a good point to point out for the offensive line because they don't get mentioned a whole
Well,
lot.
that's what
But,
I played.
he gets the ball. He gets the ball every play, and sometimes the play doesn't turn out like it's supposed to, but he ends up making a play, and so that's what we kind of hoped and expected, and that's what he's been able to do.
You're seeing this though. I've covered just about every championship game now for the last 4 or 5 years for Raycom, and it seemed like just about every team, not all of them, but just about everybody has that elite athlete now playing quarterback. It seems like we're seeing it more and more. Putting that best guy, the one guy that's on your team that you feel like can make plays. It sounds like that's kind of what you're doing here.
Well, that was really our only option. And offenses are getting more and more wide open. The
Right.
days of just having the drop back passing quarterback. I mean, you've got to have somebody that can run, and it makes it now as opposed to 15 years ago. You did not count the quarterback as a back. If they were in the eye, that's a 2-back set. Well, now that's a 3-back set.
Mm-hmm.
They've got those because he runs just as much as the tailback's doing everything else. So it's changed defenses and made it tougher to defend because you not only are looking at the tailback and the fullback or H-back, you're looking at the quarterback. So, it was a simple decision for us, and he's done well with it.
They always talk about your best improvement from week 1 to week 2, and I was just wondering, did you see that?
Well, we held Hanley out 8 plays inside the 15 to win the ball game, and came up with a big play here. There, Hanley has got a good defense. They're very strong on defense. We had a tough time sustaining drives, but we were able to get some momentum, made some plays on special teams. If you look at the difference in the game, we blocked a punt for a safety, and they missed 2 extra points. There's 4 points. We won 16-12. So, we preached our kids. We were talking about it last night at our potluck meal. We preached our kids in the first few games. Conditioning, turnovers, and special teams usually are the 3 factors that factor in when 2 good teams get together, and it's been that for the first 2 games. So, our kids take a lot of pride in it, and it showed Friday night.
And a lot of teams open up with that easy game. Y'all haven't had that yet. You got Catholic and then Hanley and now Greenville. I mean, that's a tough 3-game stretch.
No, it's like this. If you play tough opponents all the time, then it's just it's not a shock. If you play a few maybe less opponents and then you get to a Greenville, then it's like playing in another league. So, and those have been good. Catholic was a new one for us, and that made it great because we needed to play somebody around here, and they're a quality program. Coach Black was turning them around and got them going. Hanley's kind of become a rivalry. First off, was in the region with them, and then Coach Strain and I, that's just a good, hard game every year. I mean, both teams get better after playing, so we've tried to keep that going. We've just been fortunate.
And Greenville's done the same thing. They play a defending champion in Hillcrest the first week, Carver last week. So both of y'all have kind of come to this meeting point this week already, having played very good opponents. What happens tonight? What are you looking for?
Well, we're going to have to move the football. Their offense, they got a quarterback that's already committed, I think, to Western Kentucky or somewhere up there. They are very athletic. They're big. They're bigger than us across the front on both sides of the ball. They're very athletic. Their defense runs really well. And how do you combat that? You go out and slow the game down. When I say slow it down, it means speed the clock up, but slow it down, run the clock, move the chains. Don't give them opportunities to get the football. If we can hold them to about 11 or 12 series for the game, we're going to be in good shape. If they've got 16 or 17, we're not, because they can score. They're a big play team. With the films we've watched, we've seen them against Hillcrest, we've seen them against Carver. They're not a team that really, kind of like us, likes to go 3 yards here and 4 yards there. No, they go 3 yards here. They might lose a yard here and then a 70-yard touchdown pass. That kind of stuff.
So you want to avoid the big play, really? I mean,
pretty much.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to come down to. They're just a very athletic team. Do a good job.
Well, I hear those chicken gizzards calling you, so we're going to let you go. And but good luck tonight. Good luck. Hopefully we can get you on again. I know you're with Michael all the time, but
comes on every week with us.
We'll make it
I have a
happen.
show on too. You know,
All right,
don't,
we'll
don't
make it
forget
happen. I
about it.
appreciate y'all having me
All
on.
right,
Thanks,
thank you, Coach Mike Battles. Tallassee Tigers tonight. I'm telling you, Tallassee's already had one of the top marquee games of the season at the start of the year, and they got another one tonight. Greenville and Tallassee. I didn't even realize until I looked at the schedule that Greenville beat Hillcrest Evergreen.
Yeah.
And that's saying something because
Hillcrest Evergreen turned around and just wore out Montgomery Academy.
Exactly.
So, I mean, to give you an idea that they're not that down or anything. So, I mean, I tell you,
they're not.
again.
No. They got the quarterback. I know he's back. So we got to take a quick timeout. When we come back, there's a rumor going around up at Alabama. We'll tell you what it is here at First Community Bank. All right, welcome back on this Football Friday, River Region Sports. We are at Tallassee High School, the Tiger Branch. I feel like I should roar when I say that. A First Community Bank. Where'd that roar come from? Did I hear that right? I think I heard that. Anyway, appreciate Coach Battles dropping by and telling us. I tell you what, you win tonight. That's a pretty sporty start.
Yeah, you got a good leg up if you win tonight. And, and I know, of course, we'll get to our picks later on, and me and Michael's caught a lot of flack in the past week.
Yeah, I've already heard about it. Yeah.
But, we will be pulling for the Tigers. And as me and him talked about even on the air, a lot of this, I'm so far behind in the picks, I just throw haymakers. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Just to try to
get it.
Gain some ground. But, no, we're pulling for the Tigers tonight, and it's a huge game. It's our opening region game, and it certainly would help if we can start off on the right foot. So,
I really, Michael, I know you and I, we kind of talked about this in the off season, but this game in Beauregard got to be two biggest games in the region,
Well,
right?
I don't know. You got to go to Carroll next week. See, Carroll's been really good of late. We were in a region with them years ago when we were in 5A, and we never lost to them. But they have come a long way. Roger McDonald's taking over that program, so I don't think
Can't
it's
say
an
I'm
easy.
impressed by their first two wins, though. BTW.
No, they
and
hadn't
Russell
played anybody
County.
yet. But last year they ran the table in regular season. Did not
Yeah.
lose a game.
Tough
So-
place to play too.
And Beauregard's 0-2.
Yeah, and they'll come around.
They will.
So-
yeah. And again, I haven't looked at all these team schedules, but
And they played much tougher teams
Yeah.
than Carroll has, I guarantee you.
But I think tonight could be a major factor in who wins this region title.
It gives you a leg up for sure.
Oh, I don't have any doubt about that. I left you hanging as we went to that last break, and I got people walking in here wanting to know what I'm talking about.
Tim's
It's
getting
all
phone call.
rumor, and
Tim's
Tim
getting
and
phone
Tim's
calls
going to
now.
laugh because he knows he doesn't like talking about rumors. I got a text message last night I was in the middle, I was doing PA at Crampton Bowl, and I got a text message. What's this I'm hearing about Jalen Hurts leaving? And I'm like, what do you mean? This has been talked about all summer. He said, no, now it's legit. And I said, I don't have any idea what y'all are talking about because I'm at the game. I have no way of looking. I could have looked it up, but I didn't. I'm trying to do my job. So I get home last night. This is one reason why I didn't know what was going on with the Falcons. I get online, not to mention I wrote up a little story about Park Crossing last night and their victory. And I start looking at some of the forums and seeing what's going on out there. And it actually started yesterday afternoon. And then it was added to the fact that last night, that's why I asked you, Michael, if you'd had a chance to hear Saban, and I did not. Obviously, I'm working at Crampton Bowl. Apparently, Saban made a comment during the show last night about players complaining about playing time. Now, the deduction has been made that he was talking specifically about one player, and that one player is Jalen Hurts.
He was the one Jalen Hurts.
And that has morphed into he has probably played his last down at Alabama. That his parents want him to transfer and are already looking at schools for him to go to. And that how they handle this remains to be seen. They also said that Saban was not in a very good mood last night. He apparently jumped on the fans for leaving early. He, which he's done before.
What I heard was earlier in the night, and I didn't hear it to that level. He seemed to be pretty good. I heard Pee Wee's call and all of that
Yeah.
to start it, but
He loves Pee Wee.
Maybe got ruffled on the feathers before it was all said and done. So
he gets fired up sometimes. But this is Arkansas freaking State. What are you getting upset about Arkansas State for? I think this is kind of a culmination of we've kind of seen his behavior here the last few weeks. He's
getting ornery his old age.
I think he's getting ornery in his old age.
Well, he's always been ornery, hasn't he?
To some degree.
When he's pushed.
I think it's kind of, like you said, Graham, it's a culmination. You know, he's been fighting this quarterback controversy battle since the championship game. And it's a controversy, whether you want to call it that or not, that's what it is. And it's not going to go away until the end of the season. And he knows that controversies like this can affect your team. It can divide your team. And, and if there's any validity to the rumor that players are complaining that, there's playing time not being met, standards being met that they think should be met, perception is reality in a lot of people's mind. And so whether there is any truth to it or validity to it or, Nick's trying to keep the fire put out, but he knows it's difficult. And he knows that he's got a full-blown – of course, anybody that watched the ball game, and everybody at this room knows I'm an Auburn fan, but even I watched the game, and anybody that's objective and watched the game without your crimson-colored glasses on or anything like that, Tua is your starter. And if you start Jalen Hurts at this point, you fell somewhere along the line during the day and bumped your head and you got amnesia because he's twice the quarterback, maybe 3 times the quarterback that Jalen Hurts is. Is Jalen Hurts a good serviceable quarterback if Tua gets hurt? Sure, he's the best backup in the country probably. But after the performance that Tua had last weekend, you don't start anybody else. And matter of fact, if I'm the coach, Jalen only plays now whether if Tua gets hurt or in mop-up duty. That's the only time he plays in my opinion.
And, Tim, I think Saban has made that pretty clear that Tua's his quarterback and he's going to start. He said it's Monday in his first press conference of the week.
Right.
But he's still got to play parent, police officer,
Yep.
and try to get everybody on the same page. And it sounds like that's not working, at least for a couple of players.
It might not be. I don't know. I mean, I trying to recall because I thought I listened to every minute of it last night, and I don't recall him making a point of players not, being, complaining about playing time. I thought he was making a point to Andre Ware, who was his guest guy there. I thought he was making a point to him about what all players need to do. So I'm sitting there I was sitting there kind of zoning out on you a little bit, trying to remember. What did he actually say? And what?
Well, obviously I'm paraphrasing because I didn't.
Now
hear
I
it.
do know the context that you're talking about when he's talking about playing Arkansas State. He said he was referring again to the things you have to do, and he was referring, we got a standard we got to meet, we got to play to 60 minutes, we got to do this, we got to do. By the way, we got to play to 60 minutes. He goes, when our fans don't even stay there for 60 minutes. And that's what he said. And I mean, to me, it was just, I don't know. I guess I've heard the rant for 12 years. I don't go, oh my God, this means this. I mean, I don't know what it means.
He can say what he wants to say, but it's kind of unnecessary to dictate to fans what they should or shouldn't do. They're not going anywhere if it's LSU or Auburn or Tennessee or somebody like that. And more or less, it's the students.
And he's primarily taking shots at the students who are going to bail out and go anyway.
Sure.
So it doesn't matter,
Yeah, because they have other festivities.
They got frat parties to go to. They're not going to hang out for his football game.
It's just interesting to me, though, that here we are, less than a week removed from that first game where we saw Tua officially made starter, proven, as you said, Philip, why he's the starter, which I think we kind of all knew that going in. And yet, the other guy is now taking it personal. And if indeed this is true, it doesn't. I don't know. It's kind of odd to me.
There's a difference now. Now, since we're critiquing Saban's word, I'll critique yours. There's a difference between this guy, as you mentioned, him taking it personal, and whether his parents are taking it personal.
Well, that's where I was going with
whether
that.
other people's rumors say that he's taking it personal, and maybe he's not.
But the assumption is that his parents are behind him because I felt all along like his mom and dad were kind of pushing him if he doesn't start to go elsewhere.
Well, I mean, didn't they say that this summer in the articles when they interviewed his parents that he would be the
he intimated
they asked his dad, and his dad kind of gave him the indication. Look, if the guy's done all this and now the guy's not good enough to start, maybe he ought to go somewhere else.
And he said he would be the number one draft pick,
free agent
in college football.
Well,
so I think it might be more so his parents are behind it and continuing to fan the flames of the fire more so than probably Jalen is.
But, I'll say this. It's not I don't think necessarily that this is all speculation. We have no clue.
No,
we
don't.
But it's I don't know if it's bitterness that he's not starting. I think it's the writing on the wall that we've all talked about. That anybody that saw just another reason last week in the game, not just the championship game,
right,
but the way that Jalen Hurts plays quarterback is what Alabama's been missing with Jalen Hurts. To way Tua Tagovailoa plays it. I mean, I told you I would be embarrassed to have to follow up that guy. I really would.
Yeah.
Come off. All right, it's your turn now to come in. Did we watch that game? Did we see how unbelievable precise? It was said that I think it was Trevor Maddich had said this. Did you hear it? It's like he's got a rocket-propelled self-guiding system or something for the balls that he throws.
You talking about Tua?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And it's quick. It's right on the money. He's comparing it to like a Tomahawk missile here. I mean, I think that's a pretty good analogy there.
I think the one thing about this that bothers me a little bit, first of all, I misread, again, if all of this is true, I misread Jalen Hurts because I've watched him be a good teammate. I've watched him show excitement when his team is successful. I thought he said a lot of right things that Saturday when he had the interview. I didn't hear anything contentious necessarily. Now, he may have said some things that could have been
He changed my thinking about him a little bit on the fan day. He did, because he kind of came out and said some things there about that he should have been consoled to a degree, or at least talked to, that he deserves that privilege.
But you know what? I don't necessarily think that was anything wrong with that. He was telling how he felt, and whether it's right or wrong, it is his feelings. Now
No,
I'm
he
sounding like
told
my
the
wife.
truth. He told the truth, but he told me a lot more about himself.
True, but who doesn't want to play? I mean, who?
But
and who is who?
He wouldn't know as well as anybody. He's like we say, people are talking about what Alabama's doing on the practice field. We only seen 2 games where they've really been in competition. Last year it was a little different during the season. He would know. I mean, I think
Sure.
was
Yeah.
it you that was making the point with Bob Cratchit yesterday when he called in? If a guy comes in as a backup guy and then all of a sudden he's doing his job, your job better than you can do it, you're going to see it.
Sure.
He's obviously seeing it.
Oh,
And
I don't
know.
doubt
There's
that.
some things
I don't
I'm
doubt
sure
that.
that I'm a competitor and I could still do a lot of things and be good.
But
I've
what-
won and I can continue to win.
Right,
but,
right.
But obviously he cannot throw the football like Tua can.
But what kind of where I was fooled with him and the comments that he made, and it had to do not with football but finishing his degree. Well,
but the thing
apparently
is,
now
you're
all that's
talking
out the door.
But you are talking about again speculation. We don't know
Sure,
this.
sure.
I mean, you're
And
saying
again-
you're being fooled. I mean, he stay through the entire season and the rest of his career for all we know at Alabama.
Sure, that's
and
true.
again, he may have had that conversation with his parents, and his mom says, "Hey, I'm stereotyping."
And where is
but
this
his
coming
mom
from?
says, "Hey, you need to stay. You only got one more semester and all that."
Can't imagine.
And then his dad thinks he's going to be the starter anyway, maybe. And
Yeah,
then when
I
he's
don't know.
not, now his dad goes, "Well, you got to go."
I just wonder where this is coming from. Is this all fueled by the fact that we kind of read into Nick Saban's comments
Well,
that
it
kids
was-
are upset they're not getting playing time?
It was
and
that, and
Jalen?
then also there was apparently there's something out there. Again, it's on speculation. It's on forums. It's on some chat rooms and whatever. Do they still call them chat rooms? That he met with Saban yesterday afternoon, and that it was a somewhat contentious meeting. That Hurts wanted to know where he stood, or at least wanted to know about playing time, in which I think Nick Saban, as you would expect, was honest with him and said, look, tours aren't going to be
I
our
just
starter.
wonder where's that source come from? I wonder where that comes from. Now, Tim, you go up there just about every week. Sometimes,
Yeah.
I mean, what's going? How would somebody know that information and pass it? Where would that come
It
from?
would only be somebody that was inside one of his 13 assistants that don't do anything, that go procure game film or whatever else they do, that would say something to somebody else that then it would get out on a.
Or it could have
on the
been Jalen
internet.
himself said something to
But-
somebody and they put it out.
Could be. I don't know. And again, I don't have
Could have been
any
his
proof
parents.
that this took place.
But again, we're sitting here talking about whether he got enough playing time or anything, and all of us saw the
I think
game.
he was fortunate to get in
all
when he
of, all
did.
of us saw the game. He got plenty of playing time.
You better believe he did.
Yeah,
I mean-
in the 2 or 3 series he was in there before the halftime, they didn't even score.
Right,
In the first 3 series,
and
or
had
two,
he
they
let
scored
him
bam, bam, bam.
and had he let him down the field, he'd have gotten more playing time,
Exactly.
wouldn't he? So I mean,
Exactly.
he turns it into first downs, he gets to play more.
Yeah, in a situation where a quarterback has been almost flawless, which is what Tua was, and it's still 21-0, it still could be a ball game in the second
Sure.
quarter.
We've
You
seen
brought him in because that's what they said they
Right.
would do. They did. They could have just played him until it was completely out of hand and then mop-up duty. So they did it, much like they did last year with Tua.
Which, by the way, back to how did Jalen Hurts get the job? You know, they put Blake Barnett in there for a series, and then they put Jalen Hurts in there for
And
a
he
series.
moved the football.
And then they left Jalen Hurts in there and didn't bring Blake Barnett
That's
back.
right. That's right. Well, of course, they're trying to win the football game, yeah.
So, yeah, but I mean, at that point,
You're
when
right.
they're beating whoever it is, USC, that bad, they could have brought Blake Barnett back. They left Hurts out there. So Hurts got more playing time in this season opener than his counterpart in
And
the
that
same
was his
position
very
he was
first
in.
playing time ever, though, that game as a college quarterback, too, though. So they were trying to they were like, all right, he's that guy.
No,
We're going
but
to get
my
him some more
point
reps.
was Blake Barnett was a starter.
I know.
And when he got
the first
pulled, he
series.
didn't come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. I
So-
felt like that was more of a 1A, 1B deal there than what we have this year.
Well, I
think it's pretty much a no-brainer
We
at the
don't
quarterback.
know that this wasn't a 1A, 1B deal going in.
I think it was pretty obvious.
Well, it was pretty obvious to you, but
Yeah.
I don't know. You know,
It was
I don't-
obvious to me after the second half of the Georgia game last year that their quarterback decision had been made. I didn't have to see. Now, it could have been one of those, all right, Jalen gets to start things. But, again, I'm looking at who's the better player. And with me, that's simple. It was not as black and white with Barnett and Hurts immediately. We had enough of a sample to see at least a little bit from enough of Jalen Hurts last year when he struggled versus Tua when he had the opportunity. That's in my mind.
So is this why Jalen Hurts didn't hear from any coaches in the summer?
Oh, I'm sure he did. I'm not saying he didn't hear from any. I'm sure there are people out
Or
there
he
that love
didn't hear
that
what he
Jalen Hurts.
wanted to hear from the coaches?
I don't know. Jalen Hurts said he did not plan to leave till he graduated. So
Yeah.
I'm taking him at his word.
And that's the way I
Yeah.
am. I'm I want to take him at his word, and he may still do that. But who knows? We may know more come Saturday afternoon. The game's at 2:30. It'll be over about 6. Well, it'll be over about 2:45. But you get my point.
I don't know. This offense is better than Louisville's.
Well, I know that. And they're talking a little bit too. You know,
Hey, defense might be better too.
I was going to say their defense is probably better than Louisville's.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll talk. We're gonna make predictions in the next hour. We're gonna talk a little bit more. We got to get into Auburn a little bit, and I got to get Phillips' assessment of last weekend. Their game against Washington, a good win for them. The rest of the SEC got a lot of big games. Clemson, Texas A&M. You got South Carolina and Georgia. Do we have an upset brewing there? We'll have to find out. And high school football. All of it coming up next hour. River Region Sports at First Community Bank, the Tiger Branch at Tallassee High School. All right, we're back. Hour number 2, River Region Sports on this Football Friday. And we are at Tallassee High School, the Tiger branch of the First Community Bank. Why do I feel like I'm looking at a tree with an arm, a branch out, and a tiger on top of it? That's the mental picture I have. No, don't look out there. It's not out.
I know.
This is in my mind.
I'm looking for it, but I don't see where it is.
You don't see it?
I'm seeing it.
You see it?
Yeah, I see it now.
She gave me the 2 eye things, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're glad to be here, and I think if you want to come by, you're welcome. You may have to sneak in the back door, but we do have some lunch. We've got some great sandwiches. I'm working on one here myself.
Is that your cupcake?
Don't look at my cupcake.
I did finally get it, so everybody's in the video now.
Well, that's good.
In the picture.
Good.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
We pulled the camera back just as far as we could.
I don't think they want to look at me, but
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they can focus on Tim's
they should. Yeah.
right side.
His
looks
right
like there.
side.
It's
That's
his
correct.
left side there.
It is his left side.
Right?
And Phillips,
Yeah, whatever.
That's
right
his-
ear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, well, speaking of Philip, glad he's first time he's been with us so far on Football Friday this year. Glad to have him back.
I'm glad to be back. Graham, I won't get to make as many of them this year as I did last year because I actually have to work on Fridays now.
Oh, be still my heart. I'm sure that's
Yes.
that makes it tough on life. But
It does. But
did you happen to go to Atlanta last week?
that would be negative. I did not.
But I'm sure you watched your beloved Tigers on
I did.
TV.
Me and Brent Langley and Jody Jeffcoat and Brent's son Haddon and Orlando, we all got together and we watched the Auburn game against Washington, and there was some good, but then there was some bad. There was some good in there, but then there was some typical Gus in there. And
What does that mean?
You know what it means.
You know what that means.
Wow.
You mean going for
Gus.
2?
Yeah.
You don't have to?
Yeah, me and Michael, that's one of our pet peeves. You don't chase points when you don't have to. That's, to me, that just, my head exploded when he did that. And, when they went ahead by 2 points there at the end, or went ahead by, on the touchdown that they scored, if we just kick the field goals, in the extra points, ball game's tied. And so you don't do stupid stuff like that. And then, when we come out in the third quarter, you expect them to make some adjustments, right?
You would expect that.
And
Washington did.
Washington came out and made some adjustments, and we didn't. Or if we did, I sure didn't see them. And we totally get shut down in the third quarter and most of the fourth quarter. But thank goodness he has finally got smart enough to understand in the SEC, you better have a defense in the SEC. And so he's, over the last couple of years, he's assembled a defense. And I'm going to be honest with you, the defense saved him Saturday. If it wasn't for having a legitimate, defense that's probably going to rank somewhere in the top 10 or 15 this year, we'd have lost that ball game. Because the defense came up with huge stop after huge stop, turnover, and they saved us. And for him to be, and I talked about this last year, for him to supposedly, the reason he was hired because he's an offensive guru. Sometimes you just don't see it. The first couple of drives they came out and they looked like gangbusters. They just marched right down the field, and he was like, "Man, we fixing to blow Washington out."
Well, that was Gus's game plan. Then Chip had to take over, right?
Yeah, or it might have been
He scripted the first 15 plays.
Or it might have been Chip's game plan, and then Gus took over,
Yeah.
whichever way you want to look at it. So, there's some things that our offensive line had some struggles. They're going to have to definitely get better. But, I kept trying to take away, look, we are playing the number 6 team in the nation, and a lot of the people, on ESPN, SEC Network, and they kept talking about how good Washington's defense was going to be, and I think they returned like 8 or 9 starters off of their defense last year. It was a top 10 defense last year, even residing in the Pac-12, and still had a top 10 defense. So their defense is stingy, and you're not going to march up and down the field like Auburn should this weekend against Alabama State. You're going to have to earn everything. But I think what that game did, because even Gus made this comment in one of his interviews, last year would have lost that ball game. And he's correct. Last year we would have lost that ball game.
You did. Clemson.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing.
Right. And we found a way to win. And so I think in that aspect, I think it was a huge, like that 800-pound gorilla off your back. Sometimes you just need some of that game karma to go your way finally. And then once it finally does go your way, it's just kind of a huge pressure lifted off of you, and they can play more freely. And when they're in that situation again, they know they can win.
So you feel confident going into the next 11 games that Auburn can get out of whatever hole they're in?
I think they can. I think they gained a lot of confidence in the abilities that, hey, even if the chips are down a little bit, if we keep scratching and clawing and fighting, that good things can happen at the end of the ball game. And that's kind of what happened with Cam Newton. There was a lot of games they looked ugly, but at the end they would come back and they'd win the ball game, and then they wound up winning the national championship. Teams that win championships find a way to win when it's not going your way. And
Are you
I think
predicting a national championship for Auburn?
I did not say that. Now, Graham, don't be putting
Well,
words
that's
in my
kind of
mouth.
where you were going.
But I think that if Auburn will continue to build, make some adjustments and some improvements on the offensive line, and get our running game going, I think we're going to be a tough out for any team that we play. Now, will we win it all? I'm not going to say that yet. I've got to, kind of like I told Michael when I was in there yesterday morning about Tua, I want to see a bigger sample size. I try to be as objective as I can for Auburn, Alabama, Tallassee, whoever I'm looking at, and I want to see a bigger sample size. I would have liked to have been a little bit more crisp in the ball game for the entire 60 minutes. We had periods where we looked really good, but then we looked really sloppy with all the penalties and everything that went along with that. So we'll see. We got another huge test coming up next weekend.
Oh, I thought you were going to say this weekend.
No.
Okay.
You should be able to roll your third string out there and most of your walk-ons. And
I was just going to
beat
make
Alabama
sure
State.
you didn't go there.
No, I was not going to go there, Graham.
Okay, good.
But we do have LSU.
By the way, I'm not convinced you got a big test next weekend.
Well, LSU surprised me, and they looked a lot better against Miami than I had. Matter of fact, if you go back and look at my picks, I picked Miami to win that
Most
ball
people
game.
did.
Yeah, I did.
And I really thought Miami.
Who'd you pick, Tim?
He picked LSU.
So
Tim
did I.
picked LSU.
Hey, we're the only two smart guys at the table
I guess so.
today.
Because Miami was all smoke and mirrors to me last year.
Of course.
If they don't get turnovers, they don't win games.
Isn't that true?
And see, I think Miami was exposed. They are not a very good ball club, and and LSU had the benefit of playing them, and and LSU did pretty good. But if you go back and look at LSU's offensive stats, they were okay, but they were not great. And their offensive stats didn't indicate what the score was, and so the defense looked pretty good. They've got some athletes on that side of the ball. But, Auburn did have Steve Ensminger as offensive coordinator at one time, and he got fired. So let's see how he does when he goes against the team with a pulse.
He's the man now. I mean, he wasn't
That's
good
what
enough.
Coach O says.
He wasn't good enough after, I can't remember when it was, but now he is.
Yep.
So, and that's why I picked Miami.
Exactly. That's why I picked him, was because he was the offensive coordinator.
I mean, we can go down the list of why we did or didn't pick the things we did in that game, but I'm no big Miami fan. I don't have a whole lot of confidence in them either. But I have even less. Have we
Wake up,
put
Tim.
Tim to sleep?
Yeah, I did. Go eat you one of those cupcakes and get you some caffeine.
Maybe that's
and
what it
sugar.
is. He's eating too many now. All the sugar's gone.
That's what's about
the
to happen.
sugar
to me.
high has left him. Well, okay. Well, then we're putting you to sleep. Pick a subject. It's all yours, buddy. Go right ahead.
I was fine with that subject. That was great. That
Just
was
nauseating.
great,
I mean, we try to give Auburn a little equal time here.
Yeah, I
no,
appreciate that.
I don't. Not,
Or at least 33%.
No, to be, I guess, concise on exact on what he did it after the Miami comment. So maybe it wasn't an Auburn thing.
Maybe it would.
Yeah.
Oh no, it wasn't Auburn. Auburn
clarify that so people don't think
Auburn
he's
was playing. Auburn's got a defense that ranks first through fourth in the league. We'll find out, as we go where they are.
But that either way, that's still pretty high.
And Washington's got a defense that would probably rank about fifth in the league. So, what that meant that
It's not that.
No,
I'm
he-
sorry. Somebody just sent me something.
Don't read no text. on
Yeah,
there.
no,
Yeah.
it's something Nick Saban arriving at the Tuscaloosa airport on a tractor when he got there.
So
tractor?
yeah, somebody.
So
put
I
some
think
sort
I
of,
think Auburn. I think anything that Auburn. The big challenge for Auburn was survive and advance, and they did.
And
I
they
mean,
did.
don't
Yeah.
blow it. And their defense. You asked a question. You asked Philip a question about. Does he feel like they can get out of whatever hole they're in? They won't be in any holes this year. Not many. I mean, 7 down or something like that. But they're not going to be in many holes with that defense.
Graham, I see it. There's that tiger branch with that tiger on it. I see it. It finally came to me.
Came
that
to you.
vision.
It's right there.
It's right
If
there. You just have to
you gotta
really
you gotta
think
get
about
all
it.
the thoughts out of your head. You got to be.
Clear your
You got to
mind.
be the branch. You
I
got
do
to
want
be
to
the
say
tree.
this. What
Must be the side of the table.
Here's
you're
the
sitting
question:
on.
is you're right, Philip. It's only been a week, but I wonder. It seems like every year in college football, we've had a team that's been or two. It's really been Alabama and Clemson consistently that have been clearly above everybody else. Last year, I guess it was Alabama, Georgia, Oklahoma. Were those the three best teams?
Well, Clemson was pretty good too. Now,
Alabama made them look bad, though, didn't they?
well, Alabama made them look bad in that one game.
I just
but
don't know if they was
mean,
good.
They were number one before that. so.
Yeah, they were highly rated, overrated.
until they
But,
lost to Syracuse.
Yeah, that's right. I think they were overrated last year. But I will say this: I think that the question is, you said, Washington's preseason number 6 and all of that, and probably going to win the Pac-12, so everybody claims. How close are they to the top teams? Who is it?
Washington?
It seems like there's a big disparity. I've noticed this. I mean, it's just like Clemson played Ohio State that year, beat them 31-0, and then Alabama blows out. Now, it beat Washington,
I was gonna
and then
say,
they play for the national championship, and it was pretty lopsided until then. So it seems like there's a big step. Now, Alabama lost last year to Auburn. I understand that, as did Georgia in Auburn, but. How big a gap is there? That's what I want to know.
I was going to say how many Pac-12 teams have been under serious consideration for our previous.
Well, I think
four
they're eliminated now because I don't
for
think any team
previous
goes through that
four
league
playoff
undefeated. Yeah, I
teams.
think
I'm just
So if
saying.
nobody in the pack, if anybody, let's say USC or Stanford, either one of them
Yeah.
go undefeated.
I don't think they're going undefeated. That's my point. I think that every
Well,
team in that league will have a loss.
If they lose one,
and I think, by the
we've
way,
got, we've got about 6 teams that have lost one, then
I
that's,
think
that's where I'm
Washington's going to lose a game in the Pac-12, which will eliminate them from the playoff
It will.
chase. Yeah. So, and I certainly don't believe USC and
So
Stanford.
your original question was, how far apart are Alabama and Clemson to the rest of the field?
Well, I don't know if Clemson's there. I got to tell you, I think Clemson's going to be challenged this weekend by Texas A&M. I am
I do
not sold on.
too.
I'm not
but
sold
that
on
doesn't mean
Clemson.
they're not one of the top 2 teams in the
getting. And
country.
doesn't mean they won't win.
But if Alabama plays Clemson right now, do you think it'll be a close game?
Let me see the new quarterback first.
Okay, again, it's only 1 week, so it's
Yeah.
impossible to guess.
I want to see that if everything I hear
I
about
don't
this
think
Lawrence
Clemson's as good as
kid,
they're ranked. I don't. I
This,
really
this
believe they're
Lawrence
ranked.
guy, if he's as good as they say he is, maybe I don't know. If,
Well, is he going to win the job?
Well, you may not need him like Jalen Hurts last year.
Yeah, Dabo Swinney's doing what Nick Saban's doing.
He's going through
'Cause
the
he
same
knows
thing.
Kelly Bryant
He
is
made
not the
same
quarterback.
comments. I heard it this morning. He made the same comments
Sure
that
he did.
Nick Saban made.
He was on Feinbaum yesterday.
He said,
said
I
that.
don't have a quarterback controversy. I'm going to play the guy that's going to help us win. Okay,
And we're
who
playing
was
both
that, coach?
quarterbacks.
We'll play whoever we feel. I mean,
No,
he's
he
just,
said we're playing both guys, and we're not waiting until it's not
Yeah.
going to be you're going to get in a certain time. You're going to play, guarantee
Right.
both guys, because he knows he's going to need that
and if
backup.
Lawrence ends up being a better quarterback than Kelly Bryant, then guess who's going to eventually
Well,
start?
he
It'd be
probably
Lawrence.
already is. Kelly Bryant's not that good a quarterback.
But he doesn't have the experience.
Well, it's a
that
Jalen
Bryant
Hurts
has.
situation,
It
just
is.
like you
it's
said.
The same. It's
But
the
see,
same.
I just don't know if that backup's as good as Tua.
But see,
Well-
the thing about Clemson is
And well, he's not. I'm going to say he's not.
it goes back to what I was saying about Auburn. Their defense is so good, and kind of like what Tim said a while ago, there's not going to be any real big holes to dig out of with Auburn's defense.
And after this
Clemson-
Saturday, Clemson doesn't play anybody.
Right.
They don't have. There's not a team left on their schedule except
can
for
be-
maybe South Carolina.
Yeah.
That is going to give them any. That's my
And
opinion.
so if they go out and they totally dominate Texas A&M this weekend, Clemson's going to cakewalk to their
Well, this is the toughest team they'll have, and A&M may not be all that great anyway.
And
I'm
if
just
they-
saying,
if
I
they
think it's
win-
tougher than anybody they got on their schedule otherwise.
And if they win this game by 1 point or 3 points or 13 or whatever,
they still don't have anybody.
it doesn't matter who their quarterback is moving forward either.
Right.
Case
Not
in
until
point.
not until when they
Not
really
until-
play somebody
not
good,
until
which is
the
what
end of
got
the
to
year.
Alabama, right?
Right.
Exactly. Yes.
And so the young pup will have a lot of time to get a lot of playing experience because they don't have anybody.
Or the older pup will look. He'll have the job even though he's not the most impressive guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they're still winning.
Doesn't
and,
have to
and
be.
that's
impressive.
why I say Clemson is a lot like Alabama a year ago. They have almost an identical
Right.
situation where you've got what apparently is a very good quarterback waiting in the wings for the first guy to falter. Well, he's not going to play anybody except maybe this weekend and maybe the last game to where that could happen. And you know what? If South Carolina is better than what I think, they may do what Auburn did last year to Alabama. They may knock them off their perch, but we'll have to wait and see. It's
Game
a long
is
way
at
off.
Clemson, though. That's one
I was
advantage.
gonna
Yeah,
say,
that's the difference.
Where's the
That
game
is-
at?
that is
It's
different.
at Death Valley. Yes. Advantage Clemson.
Other big game is South Carolina and Georgia. I'm enjoying hearing people picking South Carolina as though this is like it's a done deal.
Is this a South Carolina pick, much like South Carolina when they upset Alabama in 2010?
No, I think it's a South Carolina pick, much like South Carolina has beaten Georgia over the years. when Georgia's had the better team going in.
Yeah, but they had Mark Rick then. I think that's a big difference.
They
I,
had
really
I,
do.
no, I agree with you.
and they didn't have the talent that they've got now.
When we pick, I will
And
pick Georgia. But
as-
I'm
as
telling
much
you,
champ on the
Georgia
level
has
Spurrier.
had, Georgia has had this kind of talent before and lost.
Well, they've lost 3 out of the last 4 at Williams-Brice. So, yeah, that's there. It's sitting there. But
I think they're beyond that myself, and I know you're probably going to pick them as you just said, but still, I don't. I'm not buying South Carolina because
I'm not
I think
either.
it's much like they play an SEC East and they beat everybody who's supposed to beat except Kentucky. They lost to them last year,
really.
and they still lost 4 football games. So.
I look at this kind of like that when Alabama had lost to South Carolina in 2012. They lost to Johnny Manziel. Alabama goes back to College Station. Johnny Manziel in his sophomore year, it was just a done deal. Texas A&M was going to win that game again because they'd beaten them last year. This is a little different situation, but it's almost as though there's a rite of passage here that South Carolina is going to win this ball
Well,
game.
there is something to be said about this, and we've talked about it, and we will on the College Football Saturday show tomorrow, but is the fact that Georgia is replacing a lot of players.
They are.
And it's their first road test, first true road test.
That was the point I was about to bring up.
And it could be a challenge. I'm not saying it's going to be a walkover, but
I don't think it will be. I just
think they're better, right? And it doesn't mean they're going to win. They may not win it, even though they are the better team.
Well, when you replace over 20 seniors on a team, and then, like you said, this is a huge road test in their division at a stadium, and you know it's going to be rocking because all the hype out there, all the talk. South Carolina believes they are going to beat Georgia. They have that belief. And so, Georgia's going to have to fight against playing away from home, replacing 20-something seniors on the team. How is the team gelled together? Arguably the 2 best running backs in the nation last year are gone now that you don't have to lean on. I know the running back, the young man that they've got now is
Swift.
really –
He's good.
He's a good running back,
Yeah.
but is he Nick Chubb good?
I don't know. He's just young.
He's a different style runner.
He's pretty good.
So it's kind of hard to compare.
Is he as good as both of those combined with what
No.
they could do?
But still.
No, that's 40 carries versus 20, so you got to say no there.
So, I'm interested to watch the ball game and to see the ball game just to see how is Georgia going to respond after replacing all those seniors off the team last year. That's a lot of leadership.
Yeah, my loss is Georgia versus LSU. I picked that preseason.
You like
I'm
that
sticking to it.
preseason?
I think it's a tougher trip.
I like Georgia, Florida because
They
they,
gotta go to
have
Baton
some
Rouge.
similarities. Tim, I don't know what you had to throw in on this particular subject, but you got 45 seconds.
No, I already said it. I think that Georgia has taken teams better than this into Columbia and not won. But, at some point you're going to ask me for a pick. I don't guess you have to.
Well, we will.
Because I'm going to
we'll
say
do that
Georgia,
in the last
so
segment.
it doesn't matter.
Here's the thing. This game hasn't had this much hype since Herschel versus George
wow.
Rogers. What year was that?
80?
81?
81.
By the way, this just in, Brian from Eclectic has just kicked a 15-yard field goal, which is impossible in a game, by the way.
Unless you don't put the line up there.
Unless you're in the end zone snapping a short. Don't snap at 7 yards, you snap at 3.
It's Brian's world. He could live in it
Yeah.
however he wants. We need to take a break. We're at the Tiger branch of First Community Bank. That's here at Tallassee High School, by the way. We still got plenty of food. Come and get some. We'll be back. All right, we're back. Wow, we got a crowd now. You mentioned you're going to pick games, and boom, everybody shows up.
Yes.
One of which is Carly, who's what is your exact title with First Community Bank?
I'm head teller.
Head teller.
Yes.
And fisherman.
That's right.
Fisherwoman.
I go fishing. I love to fish.
You were talking about fishing just a minute ago and all these fish that you
Yes.
caught. So,
And she's over this branch as well. She helps with this branch.
You're the
right here.
director of this branch.
Yep.
That's right. You've been taking pictures of some of the students. They're coming in getting in. How do they get one of those T-shirts?
Actually, those are for. We haven't really. We're doing like a drive, which will be in about. I think it's like 2 weeks. So not this Friday, but the next Friday. And anybody that comes in and opens an account gets a T-shirt, and they're also for the students at the school branch. So.
That's exciting.
Yes.
You can't give out enough T-shirts.
That's right.
Looks like
And we
Craig
have
was
plenty,
wearing one.
and
Is
they're
that what Craig?
awesome.
Yeah, I think so.
Very ball.
If you looked in Graham's closet, you'd see all the free T-shirts he's got.
Actually, they're not T-shirts; they're golf shirts. But we won't go any further than that. But I haven't gotten my free First Community Bank shirt yet.
You hadn't opened your
Need to work on
Well,
account
you'll
yet.
get one today.
Well, I'll get one today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is
See,
Officer Clayton?
guys,
not-
you see
Officer
how-
Clayton, are you going to pick or? You,
Seven.
I mean, no, he's taking the shirts. That's what he's doing.
Oh,
Okay.
he's like, forget that. I'm taking the shirts with me. All right, this is a segment, and anybody else that do I need to remind everybody how we do this? Since
No,
we've
you
got-
just call it out, and we'll just
We're
go
gonna
around. We'll
pick
pass the
high
mic around. We
high
got
school
Principal
games.
Coker here as well.
Yeah,
Carly
that's right.
Aldridge, of course, and of course the
Is it
rest of
doctor or Mister?
them.
Definitely not Doctor.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make
It's
sure.
not doctor.
So, some of these guys, though, if you don't call them doctor, they.
I
they
thought
get
you
a
got
little
that Doctor of
perturbed.
Thinkology that they gave away in the Wizard of Oz at the end. Though. Yeah, the medal.
That's some
Yeah.
kind of doctorate, but we won't go into that. All right, we're going to pick some high school games in this segment, and then we're going to pick college games after that. We saved Tallassee for last, and we'll try to give everybody a chance to give a little bit of information on what they think about that. But let's go with some big schools first. Stanhope Elmore plays Benjamin Russell. That's at Foshee Henderson Stadium.
Well, that's a tough call.
We're just going to go around like this.
No, you're going to make me pick last.
You gonna
Okay, go
start
ahead,
with
Tim.
me?
Yeah, he used to let me
And I'm
go
gonna
first.
say-
Now I got to go last. All right.
Everybody copied you, Michael.
Is that
That's
what it
why-
was?
yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that's the toughest game you're going to throw out there today.
I agree
to
with
me.
that. That's tough.
It is a tough one.
I don't know how to go with that
One
one,
of
but I'm going with Benjamin Russell just because I don't quite think Stanhope is there yet.
All right.
Principal Matt Coker.
I don't know anything about either one of those, but I did coach at Stanhope for 3 years. That was Coach Jeff Foshee's first 3 years. So I'm going to go with the Mustangs just as a
There you
homer
go.
pick.
I love the homer pick.
I'm going with Benjamin Russell.
Oh, they have better fishing there in Halleck City, I guess.
Oh,
Here
yeah.
at Lake Martin. Oh, okay. She's
There
got
you
her
have it.
connection. Philip.
I'm going Benjamin Russell.
All right.
I went with Stanhope. Tough pick, but they're playing at home. I'm going with the Mustangs.
I want to pick Stanhope. I really do, but there's just Benjamin Russell. I'm going to go with the Wildcats here. All right. Up the road, Wetumpka, Calera, Andrew Zhao, the head coach of Calera, Antonio Langham, assistant coach. So I'm assuming you're going to pick Calera.
I haven't looked at his schedule. Surprised to see him 0-2 though. But
It's been tough.
They've
As a-
lost to some teams. They probably one of them. they
as a
shouldn't have.
result, we're going to go with Wetumpka.
All right.
I'm also going with Wetumpka.
I'm also going with Wetumpka.
Y'all got a branch in Wetumpka.
Yeah,
You got to
that's
pick
right.
Wetumpka.
You got
Yeah.
to. Exactly.
I'm going to stay at Elmore County, going with Wetumpka.
All right.
There's been some lumps for Calera moving up to 6A this year. That's going to continue. I take the Indians.
Let's make it unanimous. I think Wetumpka's going to have a special year. I'm hearing good things about their new quarterback who replaced J.D. Martin. They're in pretty good shape. Crampton Bowl, Lee and J.D. I could sit here and tell stories all night long, but we don't have time. Tim, who you want?
He could tell stories as long as it's going to take Jeff Davis's offense to score a touchdown.
Which would be next weekend.
So we'll
Exactly.
go with Lee.
There you go.
Definitely going with Lee in this game.
Definitely.
I'm going with Lee because everybody else.
That's not always a good thing. Yeah.
You might want to not follow everybody at this table, but yeah, Lee big.
Yeah, Lee. I know
Go-
you guys.
go
You're,
Generals.
Do you have to pick your alma mater?
You
there,
don't have
Ray?
to. And
'Cause
I wouldn't if
that
Jeff
you and
Davis was
Tim,
better.
You and
Jeff
Tim are
Davis
generals.
Jeff Davis is in for a long year, guys.
Okay.
I don't mind telling you. This is one that's normally that we don't pick, but this game is getting national recognition. Thompson and Hoover are playing tonight. Overflow crowd expected at the Hoover Stadium. You got Talia Tunglavailoa against the Hoover. They beat Hoover last year in the regular season.
I'm going to go with Baby Tua, man. I think he makes it 2 in a row.
We're going to call him
It-
Baby Tua. He's
that's
going to
what,
get
that's what the players call it.
Okay.
But that's what Alabama players call him. We went to watch Baby Tua, but actually it's not 2 in a row because they lost to him in the playoffs, but 2 regular season wins.
Yeah.
in a row.
Right.
I think I'm going to go with Thompson, too. I don't know a whole lot about Hoover, but I did see where they got beat really bad last week.
They
So
did.
maybe they're a little beat up, and little Baby Tua takes them down.
All right.
I'm also going with the Baby Tua.
Eh,
I'm an Alabama fan,
you got
so, you know,
to.
I got to.
He is a recruit, so yeah, I can see that.
I'm going with Hoover.
Hey, isn't this? Would you say these two coaches are two of the most high-profile coaches in high school football?
And
in the
high
state?
I would
paid,
say,
yes.
yeah.
You know,
And I-
Niblett is and Freeman now. Yeah. Last week I would have picked Hoover to win, but after they got just drubbed by that team, I know that's an out-of-state team and this happens, but they don't get beat like that. Maybe there's something to it. I think I'll take Leah.
I'm
and
going to
Little.
go with Hoover because I did see them in week 1, and I thought they looked pretty good.
They looked impressive.
They did against Pinson Valley,
yeah.
but I thought Pinson Valley had opportunity. I know they
They
got
did.
killed, but they
Yeah.
just couldn't cash in.
But
You moved the football.
And again, seeing both of these teams last year play in the playoffs, I think Hoover's got a little bit more on their front than they do than Thompson. All right, let's move a little closer to home. How about this one? I never thought we'd be doing this one. Holtville at Hanley.
Boy, I guess what I'll say is,
Careful now. They got the best quarterback in the state.
hey,
That's good.
42-0, man. That's
There you go.
impressive.
That's
but,
Coosa, though.
But that wasn't Hanley, so I'm
No,
going
it
with
wasn't.
Hanley.
All right.
That's true.
I'm going with Hanley, too. They looked really good last week, and I know that Hopeful is improved, but going with Hanley.
The poor Bulldogs.
I'm going with Hanley, too.
Because everybody
Barry
else
said.
Because
go
Barry
with
said
Hanley.
Barry's
That's
walked
right, and
in
he's
just
the
in
boss.
time.
Eating a cupcake.
To eat his 5th cupcake of
Well,
the
it's his
day.
birthday.
It is his birthday. We'll sing for him in
Happy
just a minute.
birthday to
Yeah.
you.
Even though Hopeful does have a really talented quarterback, and we saw him close up last year, I'm going with Hanley.
I think Hopeful's going to be a lot better this year, but I don't think they beat Hanley.
I'm
Give me the
picking
Tigers.
Hanley to win, too. I think it will be much closer than it has been in the past few years. A little bit further up the road from that, Elmore County and Leeds.
Can I get the
That's
guest picker in on this?
Eclectic. Go
Brian
ahead.
from Eclectic, go ahead, Brian.
Can't hear it. Sorry.
Okay. I see you, but I can barely hear you. He said Elmore County wins.
Elmore County, well, of course. Go ahead, Tim.
I have no idea because I don't know anything about Leeds. So I guess I'll go with
They've
Leeds.
played
Leeds.
two good teams, and I
was
think they're
gonna say.
1-1 or
I was
something
gonna-
like
I was
They
that.
gonna
got
say, I
killed
guess
by
so.
Sylacauga the first week, though.
yeah.
They really did.
But this is about their time to come back up and be, on the mend that they're coming back. So
Gotcha.
I'm gonna go with Leeds.
All right.
Again, I've been all over Elmore County. I coached at Elmore County High School as well, so I'm going to go Elmore County. in
All
this
right.
game.
Me, too. Elmore County.
Good pick.
Go Panthers.
You're picking Elmore County. Wow.
I wanted to pull the trigger. I just couldn't. I went with Leeds.
I did. I'm picking the upset. I'm going with Elmore County by a point, 21-20. All right, let's see how much time we got here. Real quick, Alabama Christian Trinity. Don't take too much time.
I'll make it easy for everybody. Trinity still hasn't scored an offensive touchdown this year.
All right.
ACA.
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 I think it could be an upset, but I picked Alabama Christian. Trinity, they played Andalusia pretty tight
They
last
did.
week.
They
but,
did.
But I'm going with ACA as well.
I never thought I'd see the day when we'd have unanimous pick ACA over Trinity, but that's what we've got. All right, Tallassee tonight, Greenville here up at Hot O'Brien Stadium. I'll save my pick. Tim, what do you got?
Well, as I already opened up, I was talking about how impressed I was with Josh and the job he's done coaching down there at Greenville, and so it may be the toughest of the 3 games that Tallassee's played so far. But I usually kind of go with the teams that till they've been beaten. So we're going with Tallassee.
All right.
Will be a very tough night for our guys. They will be up to the challenge. I'm definitely picking Tallassee.
They'd fired you if you hadn't, but that's okay. Go.
Tallassee for me, too.
Good pick, Philip. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is Philip.
I'm going to get stoned, but I picked Greenville in my picking contest.
Wow.
He was just asking me, should we pick Tallassee? Should we go back and pick
You
Tallassee?
could change your mind.
You don't want to pick Tallassee?
I think Tallassee might win, but I'm still.
You think they might win?
I'm going to go
It's
with my
okay.
original.
But you're picking
I
Green.
appreciate you sticking to
Look,
it.
Graham, I picked Greenville. I said it. I'm going to stick to it. I think it's going to be a tough game for Tallassee.
Hope it's good bulletin board.
Good
Well-
toss-up game, but give me Greenville.
Y'all have seen Tallassee. I'm looking at scores. That's how I'm picking Tallassee, and I just feel like they got something going good right now, and so they're at home.
It's tough to do.
It is tough.
It's tough to pick against Tallassee when you're sitting in Tallassee High School.
Well, and I wouldn't. That's
Yeah,
true.
I know it. We
but
must
I
be
picked them
crazy
in
or
my
something.
backyard too.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm just sitting here. Yeah, exactly. All right, when we come back,
All
we're
right,
going to
they're hanging us up by their bind here, and in just a minute, they're going to stone us.
Oh, not that limb. That's where the tiger is. We'll be back. All right, we're back. And once again, we are at Tallassee High School, the Tiger Branch of First Community Bank, as we celebrate Football Friday. We've even added more people as we get ready to pick college football games. And I'm sorry, I don't know this gentleman right
You
here.
don't know Craig Vaughn?
I don't think I know Craig.
He's on the air on this station. He
When?
does the scoreboard show on
You
road
do?
games.
I don't,
Yes.
See, I never get to listen because I'm.
Yeah. And he does
Okay,
baseball.
you do
He
baseball.
does the baseball
Okay,
color.
I'm very sorry. I should know that.
It's embarrassing that a guy that's on the air doesn't know who's on the air
I'm
with him.
so sorry.
Yeah, should I introduce you to Tim Gale right there?
Tim
across
Gale
from-
is right here as well.
Yeah.
Before we go into college games, I'm springing this one on you. I want your favorite Burt Reynolds movie. All right? I'll start.
Go ahead.
I'll start.
Deliverance in the pig scene?
No.
Mine's so bad.
It was not. Stroker Ace.
I never thought you'd have gone there.
I never thought I would either.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with.
I guess we're going the same order or what?
So
Smokey and the Bandit. I mean, it's
Yeah.
got to be that. The longest yard is close
I was trying to
second.
decide between. Well, I was going to go with Smokey and the Bandit or Deliverance, and then I thought, you know, you're talking about losing Paul Crewe earlier. I mean, everybody's all-American quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
so many
so-
good movies he was in.
Barry Parker, your favorite Burt.
The first Smokey and the Bandit.
The first,
Yeah.
not the second. Yeah,
Definitely
please
gotta be the
second.
first one,
The
yeah.
second one was horrendous. And you may not have one. If you don't, then you can say I don't have one. But
Well, it's a toss-up between Smokey and the Bandit and Boogie Nights.
Yeah, that was
I
more
wasn't
recent.
going to go to Boogie Nights because I didn't want people to think, oh, you're that kind of guy. Huh? I didn't
Now,
want
Craig
people
doesn't
thinking-
mind.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Yeah, Carly.
Carl.
Mine's about a house in Texas, but
Oh,
the Dolly
yeah.
Parton
Little
fan.
I
I'm
totally.
just a Dolly Parton
Well, if he
fan.
could talk about Boogie
I
Nights,
love
you can
her.
talk about Little Whorehouse
Okay.
in Texas. Best
Okay.
Little Whorehouse in Texas. Philip?
I was trying to keep her out of trouble.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. You know, even though she's sitting in a school building.
Philip?
Smoking the Bandit, the first one. I mean, it's just with him and Jackie Gleason, you just can't beat.
Well,
that
and that's the
combination.
thing about that movie. Jackie Gleason, to me, was better than Burt Reynolds.
Well, he had
Well,
to be.
I
Do
mean-
y'all realize that Jackie Gleason did not have a script? He ad-libbed everything in that movie.
I'm not surprised because he was hilarious.
He was-
So,
he was
I,
great.
I read something on that one time, and he ad-libbed everything in that movie.
let's go through some college games real quick. We'll start out west. A couple of big ones. First of all, Southern Cal and Stanford. They're playing in Palo Alto. And we will go back to our normal procedure here.
Oh, we
Tim.
went to our normal procedure the last time.
Well, actually,
didn't
I
we?
went first.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to go with Stanford because those people out there in the Pac-12 are talking about if it's not Washington, it's Stanford, right? So
I've
guess
heard.
I guess I got to pick the conference favorite.
There you go. Barry?
Give me a Diablo sandwich and a Dr. Pepper.
Good nice, lady.
I'm going with Stanford.
I liked your first pick better.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going with USC.
He likes the true freshman
Yep.
quarterback, JT
I'm going with
Daniels.
Stanford.
Good pick.
Has anybody ever had a Diablo sandwich? In there?
I have.
You have? Okay.
USC is always overrated. Going with Stanford.
How about a Vegemite sandwich? You ever had one of
I've
those?
never had a Vegemite.
Okay.
Don't want one
I had a
either.
chicken salad sandwich, about
Yeah,
5
never-
of them a minute
let's
ago.
don't compare that to a Vegemite.
Give me the Cardinal.
I'm going Stanford as well. Staying out west, Michigan State goes to Arizona State.
It was a
Herm
hard one
Williams.
because we were almost in that I don't care category. But anyway, I went with Michigan State.
All right.
Michigan State.
I'm going Arizona State.
Yeah, go Sun
I'm
Devils.
going with Arizona State. Too.
It's Sparty versus Spartan.
I don't even remember who I picked in the pick'em contest. So let's go with Michigan State.
I picked Arizona State. That trip, having to take that trip, going cross-sectional like that, I usually pick the team that's the home team.
I'm with you. I'm going with the Sun Devils here. I think they figured out a way. And while we're talking about a team from Arizona, how about Arizona going to Houston?
Golly, I forgot who I picked on that one. You're getting more and more irrelevant to me.
Gee, thanks, Tim. You can walk home.
I'm going to say Houston.
Who's Houston playing?
Arizona.
Kevin Sumlin and the Arizona Wildcats.
Houston.
All right.
This is going to be an Ed Oliver show, so Houston's going to win.
See, the man knows at least who's playing for one of the teams, unlike the rest of.
I'm
never
going
mind.
Houston too.
You like Houston. You're picking the Oilers.
Yeah, going with Houston.
All right.
Astros. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to take Arizona on the road to bounce back. They lost to
Wow.
BYU last week, and
Yeah,
this
they
is
did.
where Kevin
Is
Sumlin
this
used to
where Khalil
coach.
Tate makes a name for himself?
I don't know. I'm not real high on him, but Sumlin, this is where he was before he went to Texas A&M and now to Arizona. So
I'm going to go with the home team as well. Fred Flintstone, who do you want? Houston or Arizona? Oh wow! She didn't even
Diamondbacks.
think twice.
She
about
went with
that
the
one.
Diamondbacks.
She went with the Diamondbacks. That's right. All right, let's get into some SEC games. Some teams playing. How about Mississippi State going to Manhattan to take on Kansas State? Mississippi State, Kansas State
Nick Fitzgerald in his debut.
for the season.
Right, well, yeah. I mean, in his debut back from a broken ankle. So
I thought he was suspended.
no, I meant the broken ankle last year.
Yeah,
put him
yeah.
out.
Who do you
Yeah,
want?
you're right.
I'll go Mississippi State.
All right.
Mississippi State.
I don't know if I'm supposed to elaborate.
We're supposed to
This-
call a 900 number to get that pick from Barry on that one.
I feel like it's Saved by
But-
the Bell just
Yeah,
started,
exactly.
the TV show.
This is going to be at K-State, right?
Yes, it is.
So, Bill Snyder, correct?
Bill Snyder's still there.
The old
37
man.
years
Tough
old.
defense. I think this game's going to be closer than what a lot of people think, but I think Mississippi State's going to pull it out, probably by no more than 10.
All right. Well, that's right at the number.
I'm going Mississippi State too.
She's an SEC homer.
Yes, I'm with Craig. I think it's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people thinking because Snyder's a good coach. Always has a good defense. It is Fitzgerald's first game back in a while. There's going to be some kinks to work out, but I am going to go with the Bulldogs.
What are all these Mississippi State fans going to say if they blow it and lose this game?
I know what we're going to say. Oh, you're just Mississippi State.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But I do
They're going
pick.
to say put two or whatever his name is.
If they lose it, we're going to call up Coach Horton next week on the radio.
That's right.
Easy.
Mississippi State, give me the Bulldogs.
Will Kentucky break their 31-game losing streak to
no.
Florida? No.
Yes.
Oh, you like
Kentucky pick?
Give them the Cats.
Hey, all right.
And who is this?
Kentucky and Florida.
Florida.
Florida all day.
All day.
Go Gators.
I did hear Matt Jones, who came on as big Kentucky guy yesterday, said this is the best team Kentucky's had in forever.
How would he know?
He's a big Kentucky guy.
I know, but
he said except at quarterback.
Well, that's a big if.
Yeah, I'm going to take. I got to take Florida. They've won 30-something straight. What is it? 36.
31.
Years?
31 in
crazy.
a row. Let's make it 32. They'll win big. All right. How about Clemson, Texas A&M, prime time?
Interesting conversation the other day on the SEC teleconference with Jimbo talking about how he's got to change the culture. That Texas A&M doesn't know how to win big games, and that he's got to work on that. I don't know if that was a concession speech or not, but I'm going to go with Clemson.
Sounded like one.
I got a good friend of mine and him and what's the coach at Clemson? I can't think. Dabo. Him and Dabo are really, really good friends, and he said they've got it cranked up, so I'm going with Clemson.
All right.
Clemson defensive line is going to be way too much for the Aggies offense, and Clemson's going to walk the dog on them.
They ain't just winning; they're walking the dog. Carla, can you?
Clemson.
Okay.
I mean,
She's like, I haven't had
Clemson would be in South
I have not
Carolina.
had a problem with any one of your picks so far. You're doing fine.
I'm with Craig. When you're starting for defensive linemen, when they put out the all ACC picks and all 4 year linemen are on first team,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good indication your defense is pretty good. I'm going with Clemson big.
You've been listening to Lynn Scarborough, haven't you?
Too much, yeah.
Yeah.
Clemson, but by nose. I think it's closer than that.
I agree with you. I
Yeah.
think it's close. I would take the points here, which I think is 12, 13 right
Too many.
now.
I think it's too many.
I think I'll take the points, but I think Clemson wins in a close game. All right, let's go to
Georgia,
South Carolina. Yeah, I almost forgot that one.
I already spoke about that 20 minutes
You
ago.
are against Georgia. That's right.
Georgia.
Go Bulldogs.
I'm not going to say go Bulldogs, but I am going to pick Georgia.
You didn't tell us that story on the air. You told us off the air. You
Gonna do it, Philip.
You got an in-law.
Go Gamecocks.
Cocky.
You're picking South Carolina?
He is. Ugga for me. I'm taking the Bulldogs.
I'll take Georgia again in a close game, but I'm just not. It may not be quite what everybody thinks. All right, Alabama and Auburn. I think is anybody not picking either one of them to win? No. All right, so in that case, give us a score as we go around.
Golly, for which one?
Both.
A bunch, I think in Arkansas
And be nice
State,
to Alabama State, by the way.
I can't.
How can you?
But I think in Alabama's case, it might be a little closer than, it might be like 45-14 or something like that. But
Well, that would beat the spread.
but but I picked Louisville to beat the spread last week, and they didn't do it either. So I could very easily be wrong there. But on the Auburn situation, 60. Gosh, I don't know.
60, I don't know.
66 to. Do I want to give Alabama State anything? Maybe I'll give them 6.
And they'll throw a parade if they score
I
6.
certainly won't pick Alabama State, but remember Jacksonville State a few years ago.
Boy, I'll remember them and for about 3 seconds, and then I won't have to worry about them anymore. Because that ain't quite the same.
I think Auburn will win by 50, and I think Bama's going to win by 45.
By the way, you didn't give an Alabama score, Barry.
Oh, Arkansas State. I mean, they're in the Sun Belt. I mean,
They're the favorite.
they could show up. I mean, there again, never pick them to win, but it could be a 43-7 game or something like that.
All right. That would beat this. That'd be right at the number.
Carly Pickett.
Carly?
Skip me.
Nah, come on.
We didn't
I
Just
don't know
pick a
about
score.
scores.
Give me
That's
a
what I'm saying, a lot to a little, because it sounds like
A lot to a little. I like
lot
that.
to a little.
Yeah.
They need to change the scoreboard and put that.
I think Arkansas State's better than Louisville, but
Real
it's
quick.
still. I do. It's a cupcake, but I think it'll be, that 45-14 for Alabama, Arkansas State, and I think Gus finally scores in the 60s against
Finally.
Alabama.
I don't think
against
he can
Alabama
help
State.
himself.
I was going to put Brian on for his picks, but he dropped off. 70-7 Auburn, 55-13 Alabama.
70 to something. Yeah, I agree on Auburn. Alabama, they'll get in the 50s again. I'm going to say 52-13.
No, here's his pick. A lot to a
Final.
little.
A lot to a little.
Yeah.
There you go. I've enjoyed this. Can we come back here?
We will.
I want to come back here and do this again, especially if they've got those great sandwiches.
But
Those
next
are
time you
delicious.
got to, give Barry his birthday.
We will
Licks.
real quick. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Nobody's using the mic but me.
Barry.
Thank
She
you.
should sing it. She's a singer.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Barry. We'll talk to you Monday. Have a great weekend.